All right, the preseason is just about underway. Put it down below. How many games the New York Jets going to win in 2022? And hopefully this comment section is a little bit more optimistic than these over 3,000 Jets fans who responded to a poll put out on Twitter by Joe C., co-host of the Badlands podcast. And if we look at the numbers right here, the first two, that 16 and 55% respectively, combined, that's telling us that 71% of Jets fans think that this team is going to win 7 or fewer games in 2022. And if you've been around on my live streams, you've probably heard this point before, but that is synonymous with 71% of Jets fans not believing Zach Wilson is a franchise quarterback, period, point blank. The New York Jets can't be competing for one of the now 7 wildcard spots in the AFC. 6 or 7, 5 wins. That's telling me you don't think Zach Wilson is a franchise quarterback, and NFL history tells us that. Recent NFL history does. Let's take a peek. Over the last 13 years, going back to the year Mark Sanchez was drafted, there have been, in my opinion, 13 franchise quarterbacks drafted in the NFL. And let's take a look at what they accomplished year 2, and then I think we'll put in perspective and realize we need to raise our expectations for Zach Wilson. Rightfully so. Incredibly talented and hardworking young man. And now we have some outliers, right? Russell Wilson, Joe Burrow, Super Bowl. Okay, unrealistic. Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes winning an MVP. Okay, nobody expects that either. But if we keep going, Kyler Murray, Andrew Luck, Deshaun Watson, and Cam Newton all made the Pro Bowl behind bad offensive lines by year 2. Dak Prescott made the Pro Bowl by year 2. Justin Herbert threw for 5,000 yards. Matt Stafford was hurt year 2, missed it, came back, threw for 5,000 yards in year 3. And the one everyone points to is Josh Allen, who supposedly stunk year 2 because he had a bad completion percentage, but he also scored 30 total touchdowns, ran for 500 yards, and took the Bills to the playoffs for the second time in 2 decades before he had Stephon Diggs. And some of these 13 went to small schools. Some went to big schools. Some were first-round picks, second-round picks, third-round picks, or fourth-round picks. Some went to good teams. Some went to bad teams. Some went to a good division, a poor division. Some had a rookie head coach, a veteran head coach. But all 13 had individual accomplishments that showed that they were going to be that guy for their franchise. And all 13 were competing for a playoff spot, with 8 out of the 13 making the playoffs in year 2. There's no excuses. The schedule. The Jets have the 17th strength of schedule in the NFL. Average schedule. The conference is stacked. Yeah, that's true. And right now, I see 8 teams on paper that are better than the Jets. I'm not saying playoff or bust. I'm saying competing for a playoff spot. And of those 8 teams, NFL history tells us that year over year, there's about a 40 to 50% turnover from teams who are in the playoffs one year, missing it the next. So of those 8 teams that we're saying are definitely ahead of the Jets, gonna make it in, 3 of them, because of injuries or underperforming or whatever reason, are not going to be in. Just like the Colts and the Ravens last year. So now the Jets don't need to be competing for the 1 seed. No one's saying that. But when those 3 teams that we think are going to be in, when they fall out, can the Jets be one of those other 2 or 3 teams that take advantage and compete to jump in? Yeah, they absolutely need to be. What other excuses do we have? We're too inexperienced. Not true. The average age of our offensive line is 30 years old, not a single rookie starting. Our top 2 tight ends are both in their prime. Corey Davis is in his prime. Elijah Moore and Michael Carter showed they can be playmakers last year. Defensively, all the projected starters on the defensive line have 3 to 5 years experience in their prime. CJ and Quan Alexander, veterans of the linebacker room. The secondary, DJ Reed, Jordan Whitehead in their prime. LaMarcus Joyner, veteran. And we have a ton of playoff and Super Bowl experience. And the 4 rookies we're counting on to play big roles, are all 4 of them were like top 5 at their position, with Breece and Sauce arguably being the single best players at their position in the draft. We're not counting on a 6th-round pick for Chick-fil-A Community College. These kids are going to be able to contribute right away. And we have this new system. Guys coming in, takes time to gel. Yeah, like Laken Tomlinson and Dwayne Brown, who are veterans who are jumping into a very similar zone blocking scheme, they're going to be all right. Like Quan Alexander, DJ Reed, and Solly Thomas, who have all played in a Robert Saleh coach defense, they're going to be fine. Like the new tight ends that Zach Wilson was traveling around the country to meet and go to tight end university to build chemistry with, they're going to be fine. So history tells us, if we're looking back at a 6 or 7 win season, any way you slice it, that doesn't bode well for a young quarterback, but it's a good thing we're not going to have to worry about that because the Jets are winning more than 6 or 7 games this year, and Zach Wilson is going to show us that he was worthy of that second overall pick. We'll talk ball soon.